and welcome to Sanctuary Sunday. Sanctuary! Yes, the day where I cover something other than war games. Now, this is a special Sanctuary Sunday because it's Easter Sunday. And what better topic or game to cover on Easter Sunday than the Mission? This is a game about the early days of Christianity and its development in the Mediterranean, so to speak. So this is a game from White Dog Games, which are known for their war games, and they're also known for being a smaller publisher. In fact, they do not necessarily produce their own games. They go through third-party Blue Panther Games, which is actually a sourcer or provider for a lot of different companies that don't necessarily have all the resources or want to have all the investment to do their own printing and boards or maps or counters or cards or what have you. And so this is a company that's all about their games. White Dog is about the game, and then they have Blue Panther produce their games for them. Now, there's a couple versions of this one. There is a box version and there is a bagged version. Guess which one I have? Yes, I have the bagged version because what I'll end up doing is, I'll take this and I'll punch out any counters or take any cards and put them in bags, and then I'll put them in a clear envelope. And this is how I store. This is how I store my magazine games and how I store some of my smaller games, or how I store games that come in bags instead of boxes. And it does save quite a bit of space. So let's look at the back here of the bag, so to speak. And we can see this is one player. This is a solitaire game. This is a game that is based in large part, or at least inspired in large part, by the States of Siege system, which was a system that was developed. The actual States of Siege was developed by Victory Point Games, which was a another smaller game publisher that it did produce its own games, but they some of the earlier games might be just a little bit better than print and play or do it yourself, but over time they became a little bit better, and then I think they eventually got bought out. So this is one player, 1 to 4 hours, ages 12 plus. And in States of Siege games, it's kind of like a tower defense. There's usually a center point, and then there's tracks of how things are advancing or converging on that center point. And there's usually a deck of cards or something, or some dice that manipulate those tracks and have stuff, come towards the middle. This game, I think, is the reverse of that. It's been a while since I've saw some content on this, but I think there's a reverse because you're expanding out. I think you're expanding the Christian religion and in going through some of the things that happened with the Christian religion at that time. So you're kind of expanding outward instead of inward. I think that's how it is working. So we can see here at the back of the bag, when the Son of Man comes again, will he find on this earth anyone with faith in him? That's Luke 18:8. Again, I cannot think of a better game in my collection to cover on Easter Sunday. So the Mission is a grand strategy solitaire game covering almost 1,300 years of Christian history. While the secular world of empires and politics plays out around you, your apostles and missionaries spread the faith, translating the Bible and converting areas of the map to Christianity. Each turn covers several decades. The flow of play teaches players about the expansion and doctrinal battles of early Christianity, while you build institutions like universities, hospitals, and monasteries to educate, heal, and inspire the societies you touch. So there you have it there. Now let's get inside the bag and see what we have here. And again, the bag will go off and I will get one of my envelopes. So you have a kind of a cover sheet here that keeps everything together. I mean, that's nice to put that in in the envelope to kind of have a nice little cover to it, but there's nothing else there. It's kind of a wasted space. I guess they could have put some player aids there or the map, but they did not. You have your rule book here. It's triple column. There's color, so you got some text in shadow box like this is the game designer's voice explaining the rule, and then you have these purple boxes, which I think are more historical or context. So you got your 3 columns there, and the rules themselves are 16 pages, but you've got some, looks like you're having some either explanation of some cards or some notes here in the back. Yeah, you got notes and credits here. So really the rules go up to page 15. We talk about your end of turn phase here. So again, this is solitaire and it's States of Siege. So if you have any familiar with that, then this should be, I think, hopefully relatively easy to pick up. I've covered played several of these and covered some of them on my channel, but also several on Board Game Geek. So here's your 3 columns. You've got political control. You've got general rules here. So this right here is game equipment. Maybe talking about the map a little bit. You got general rules. You've got some images of the counters. You've got the history phase. So you got some different eras here, from the apostolistic age all the way up to the Crusades. Interesting. You also have the fall of Rome and rise of Islam in there. Early Middle Ages. Very cool. I like the history. You've got a secular phase. That's probably what's going on around you. Then you have a religious phase. This is probably where you're doing something, because you are representing the expansion of the Christian religion or Christianity. And then that goes on for quite a bit. Then you have end of turn phase. So there it is. So you basically have really 3 phases or 4 phases. End of turn phase, so 4 phases. So there's your rules for the mission. Then you have the mission acts track. So these are some of the things I think you can do. Here's those different ages again. This is on a little bit thicker stock. Single-sided, because I imagine it'll be off to the side of the board. Then you have your counter tray. And White Dog does this in a lot of its games, where this is a place where you can put your counters, because you pop out your counters, and then when you set up the game, you put these in the field tiles, wafers, popes, bishops, kings, heresies. You put all your counters out here, so when you're playing the game, you can go right to it. And it also gives you some references sometimes, too, that might help you as you're playing the game. There's the sequence of play. As you see here, the history phase, secular phase, religious phase, and end of turn phase. A little bit of shine there. Again, this is a little bit thicker stock. This is double-sided, though. It's talking about different factions. Oh, and this is a Madison game. He does quite a few games, quite a few solitaire games and States of Siege games for White Dog Games. How about that? He also has one called Jihad, which is, I think, similar to this, but it's focusing on Islam as opposed to Christianity. Something I need to pick up at some point. Then you have your setup sheet. Again, that's on thicker. It's dual-sided, but it's on the same thick player aid type stock. Then you have all your counters here. Ooh. And White Dog Games, they get sourced through Blue Panther, and Blue Panther counters are very thick. They're somewhat of a laser cut on there, but they're really nice, thick counters, but they're different. They're different than the counters you might be used to, and you really don't clip these. They're so thick in the way they're kind of cut out, they don't necessarily need to be clipped. So you got a sheet of counters here, and then you have, they're double-sided. Very nice there. Then you have your map board. Let's pull this out. And Blue Panther is you're going to get paper maps, right? And they're thick paper, but they're paper maps nonetheless. Here we go. Get a little bit better view here. So you have Jerusalem in the center, and then you have all these different tracks that emanate out here. You've got Saxon, Bulgars, Khazars, Turks, Maiar clans, Vandals. So all these different tracks will follow along here, and I think you're, or maybe you're going out from here to spread the faith. Here's Bible translation, so that's something that's going on during the game. You have a Solidus and Dark Ages track down here. Damaged armies. Whoa, I just damaged my army. Arab attack rolls. So you got quite a few different things on the board here. There's the counters here. So here's some of your Islamic or Arab counters. There's jihad on there. Very interesting. Okay. Setup sheet. So this is what you get in a bag or box of the mission. And you'll take these counters and set them up on this counter track and then be pulling stuff off here during the game. Here's the axe track. Again, I need to get in to figure out what's this is all about. So game equipment, you get a color map, a two-sided sheet of tiles. So that's these counters, I guess, here. One-sided color act track, one-sided black and white counter tray, yes. Two-sided color sequence of play, two-sided black and white setup sheet, 16-page rule book, you're reading it, and two 6-sided dice not included. No, they're not. I don't know if they're included in the box edition, but they're not included in the, at least definitely not included in the bag edition. Nope, no dice in there. So there you have it. Normally, the States of Siege games usually use cards, that have historical events on it, and you flip a card over, and it will tell you to advance something on one of these various tracks. Again, this one I think you're kind of expanding out a little bit more. So I don't know if this is a. I got to figure out how this works. I mean, how do the tracks work, and how do you advance things on the track? That's going to be a little bit different. Don't know if this is like a chit pool or a cup situation or what have you here. So I'm intrigued. I'm very intrigued on this Easter Sunday, this special Sanctuary Sunday edition on Easter Sunday. So they said these were double-sided, so they are double-sided. So there you have it. That is what you get in a bag or a box of the mission from White Dog Games and designed by Arbid Madison. So interested in this. If you've played this, I know there's some play out there, some content out there. If you played it, love to hear your thoughts on it. Good, bad, or ugly. What you like, what you don't like. If you haven't played it, are you interested in it? Or if you played any other of Mr. Madison's games, love to hear your thoughts on that, or on White Dog Games in general, or on whatever you want to talk about. It is Sanctuary Easter Sunday, so open up. Let me know what you think. Just keep it civil. Anyway, I hope you're having a great day. Hope you're spending some time with family and friends and thinking about, your blessings and those of your family and all the good things that, the world has to offer. Anyway, thank you so much. Take care. Be well. Have a good one. Thanks for watching.